Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm excited to introduce you to the Taylor Convertible Bag, a stylish and functional duffel bag that is perfect for travel and everyday's adventure. This pattern comes in two versions, binding and buffing. While the main body of the bag remains the same, the buffing version is ideal for advanced beginners to intermediate. It skips the binding, making it more approachable sew. The exterior includes a zipper pocket on one side and a slip pocket that doubles up as a luggage sleeve on the other. The side gussets are packed with functionality. You will find two zipper pockets for extra storage, a D-ring for an optional strap, and even a cover clip to keep your zipper pulls secure. Inside there's a roomy zipper pocket, a dedicated suit compartment that can hold clothing, and a hanger. Plus, side mesh pocket to keep everything organized. One of the standout features, the tailors unzip completely flat, making packing and storage effortless. And with the optional anti-theft zipper pull hack, your belongings stay secure while you are on the move. This pattern includes a card list, piece tag labels, AO or projector files. I won't be going into detail about the pattern pieces in this video, but you can find the full pattern overview on page 4 and 5 of the pattern instructions. For printing instruction, head over to page 24 or simply click the video link in the pattern for the detailed walkthrough. Now without further ado, let's sew the tailor's bag. Prepare this before we start. This is for the D-ring reinforcement. This is what we will be doing. Okay, so you will need to cut Decovio. I'm using this cell adhesive stabilizer. The information is on page 6. For all the top center, measure 1 5/8 inch down, which is 4.1 cm. And we will adhere the Decovio or your stabilizer. For this, I'm going to do exactly the same. You can cut bigger. I didn't really measure, to be honest, which I should, because I think mine is a little bit too short. This is for the PC, the top exterior. We'll put this aside first. And for this piece D, we will cut the strip, which the measurement is given in the pattern instruction. This is the ankle strap to reinforce. So what you do is you base at the bottom, and you will fuse the stabilizer over. For me, I just press it over, will do. I should have cut it bigger. But it's alright, later when the stitch over, it will be there. I just need to make sure that it stays. Okay, if you are using Decovio or any fusible stabilizer, make sure to give some time for it to cure. Then we'll put this aside first, and we'll be doing the stabilizer next. Take out your piece A1 base and A2 stabilizer, as well as your 5 purse feet. We are going to do this before we start sewing. Use piece A, the base, to cut your fold and base the perimeter. For this pattern, it is not going to sandwich in between the lining and the base. So it is on a standalone exterior. So for now, I'm going to use this Sewfisticated foam from my shop. I ran out of premium, so I'm using this 2.0 heavy, and I'm going to adhere it to the stabilizer. I also already marked the purse feet, and I'm going to use my awl to punch the hole, because by using the hole puncher, I can't reach in the center. I'm using this Chicago screw, and I'm going to use the glue. I ran out of the super glue, but this works as well. So I'm going to put a drop of glue over the cap. Once done, use the painter stick to cover the screw so that to prevent any accidental stretch. And I'm going to repeat for the remaining 4 purse feet. Now we have done the preparation work. Let's go to the next step. For this pattern, you will need this separating zipper, which is similar to the jacket zipper. You will need to have at least 20 inch, but I would advise you to get a longer piece. Reason being, we can always reuse the excess zipper. I already marked 19 inch, so I'm going to cut it. So I'm going to separate this first and change to my zipper. Okay. And when we insert a new zipper pull, we will insert through the cap. For this pattern, I'm recommending for you to have a pull that has a hole in, to have a zipper pull with a hook. It works as a simple anti-theft lock. So for now, I'm going to take this out. Okay. And for usual zipper, we always will insert through the curved corner inwards here. Okay, but for this, we are not going to do that. It's going to be the opposite way. We are going to insert through the back. So for here, okay, we gently slide it in. Okay, and we will just slide all the way to the back. And we will insert here. Always double check. And there you go. You will have your separating zipper. So you can use the remaining for the main panel zipper pocket or the side gusset. For me, I'm going to reuse this for the side gusset. So let's get started. If you do not have a logo tag, you can skip to the next step. You can position your logo tag anywhere on the fabric. Just be sure to leave about 2 inches away from the short edges because later we will need to sew the webbing. My fabric doesn't have an orientation, but if you do have, do remember that you're going to place your logo accordingly because I did before. Okay, I already marked the placement using the washer. Use a seam ripper to cut 2 small slits enough for the prongs to go through. If your fabric tends to fray, please do apply the fray stop around the slit. And once we insert the prongs, we will place the washer over the prongs. However, I always like to use a piece of scrap stabilizer to make sure that it's secure. And thereafter, we are going to use a painter stick to secure. Now we will go to the next step. Right now we are on step 2. You will need to cut into half for your ZTB zipper. Before I proceed, you will notice there will be zipper label. In fact, most of my pattern, for zipper, you will have a label. So there will be a Z in front followed by the alphabet behind. For this is ZB, meaning is for piece B. And for this is ZTB, is actually for the zipper tab. And we were joking, Sammy and Jen, it's so hard to pronounce ZTB. I'm going to try to see how to better label for video tutorial. This is my way of knowing which pieces. Okay, it works for me and I hope it works for you too. After you cut into half, we'll put one set aside. Okay, we are going to place the zipper right side together on the close end of the zipper tape. And we are going to sew with a 3/8 inch. Thereafter, we turn the zipper tab right side up, fold to cover the raw edges, and we are going to top stitch with a 1/4 inch. And I like to reduce down the process by doing 2 at the same time. Okay, next we are going to measure from end of the zipper tab to the other end is 8.5 inch, already marked for both. We are going to fold the zipper tab 90 degrees down at the mark point to form a L shape. And we'll baste along the long side. Before we baste, just to make sure that your tip of the zipper tip to the zipper tab is measured 8.5 inch. And ensure both look equal, and we are going to baste it. And we'll repeat the same for this. Now your ZB zipper is done. Because I tend to forget to trim before sewing, so you can go ahead and trim and cinch the zipper end. Put one of the zipper tape away first. I'm going to put this away and take this. Next, we are going to take this front panel zipper pocket piece B, the one that we did the logo earlier. And we are going to mark the center point of the ZB zipper. If you're like me, a right-hander, I like to pull from the zipper left to right. So this is a right placement. So I'm going to place it right side together and baste it with a 1/8 inch. Once I'm done, I'm going to take out this piece B2. I'm going to place it right side together with the zipper tape sandwich in between and sew with a 1/4 inch. Change out your zipper foot if you have not. Piece B2, zipper pocket lining, right side together with the zipper sandwich. And we are going to sew with a 1/4 inch. As mentioned, keep your jumper standby over here because it's very useful for this pattern as well as this thermostat. We are going to snip the two sides, turn the fabric around and flatten the seam. And we're going to top stitch the parameter with a 1/8 inch. And I like to start from the side so I do not need to back stitch. If your fabric lining string a little bit, is fine. That usually happens when you turn around and the lining is slightly short. Okay, because you will be covered by the seam allowance. And now you are done with the front panel zipper pocket exterior. We will put this aside and we will continue with the back panel slip pocket. We are on step number 5. Basically, we will repeat the step number 3 earlier as what we did for the front panel. But this time we are going to place the zipper at the bottom because this is a slip pocket come luggage sleeve. If your fabric has a print orientation, please take note. And right now we are going to align it, the center point, again right side together with the fabric exterior. Also, please note on the direction of your zipper pull close if you want to. And bear in mind, because this will be hanging down, because it's a luggage sleeve, you don't want to have your pull to be too long, okay, because you'll be tangling like this when it's finished. So this is something that you might want to take note. Again, I want to open from left to right. So this is my placement. After that, it will be like this. Again, right side together. And take out your lining. Right side together with a zipper tape sandwich in between. For this back panel slip pocket, because we act as a luggage sleeve as well, so we need to sew the top and the bottom long edge with a 1/4 inch. And we are going to turn the fabric right side out from the short edge and going to top stitch the whole parameter. Okay, and we are going to top stitch the parameter with a 1/8 inch. Okay, make sure it's flattened. Okay, your luggage sleeve is now ready. We are on step 7, ZA separating zipper. Make sure your zipper pull is already in, and we are going to mark 18 3/4 inch first point to the end of the zipper tape. And we're going to fold the 90° to form a L shape. Ensure that the tip of the zipper teeth to the zipper tab measure 18 7/8 inch. Okay, and we'll do the same for the opposite. Double check the length is 18 7/8 before we trim off the excess zipper and cinch the ends with a lighter. Remember not to cut into the zipper tape by accident. Okay, go ahead and take out your front and back panel, which is your main body, piece A. Be sure to mark the center point. There are two ways of attaching the zipper to the front and back panel. You can separate the zipper and mark a 1/2 inch, and we will baste it. Or what the tester prefer is to sew the panel without separating the zipper to ensure the panel line up perfectly. Once they're done, then they will separate the zipper. For this demonstration, we are going to do so. Determine which one is your front and back, because this is how we are going to place the zipper. Though the difference is very minimum because we are going to open up the back eventually. If you're a right-hander, you may want to pull from the left to right. So this is my front. I already made a 1/2 inch on the top edges. I'm going to place it right side together and base it with a 1/8 inch. And we will take out the back panel. Again, mark a 1/2 inch. Then we are going to line up right side together with the opposite long edge of the zipper. Okay, it's all aligned, and I'm going to baste it. Okay, now I know that it's already aligned, I can actually take it out. This is how it will look. So it depends on which side do you want, but it doesn't matter much. As I mentioned, if you open it up, you will naturally need to pull it up from here or pull it up from here, because we need to attach the separating zipper head. Okay, we will put away the back panel. Take the front panel and mark 5.5 inch down from the top center. Use a fabric pen and draw a line across. And we will take the zipper pocket that we did earlier. You have to mark the center point, and we are going to place the raw edges with the front panel facing up. Match the center point that we did earlier. The reason why I asked you to draw a line earlier so that we can match it well. I like to use the pinter's tape, okay, to make sure that the zipper is secure. First, it will be easier for you to unzip the zipper and to sew it. We're going to baste it with 1/8 inch first and sew another 1/4" top stitch from the zipper tape. Just on the line that we draw so that it's easier for us to align. Okay, from here we are going to top stitch a 1/4", but if we can't see the 1/4" like now, we are going to top stitch a 1/8" away from the first top stitch. And we are going to fold down and match the center point here. And your zipper tab should be standing upright and it's not flat or squashed. Ensure the two sides are spaced out equally. And we are going to baste the two sides and the long edge. I like to sew the long edge first, followed by the short edges. Okay, your bag is getting longer, so make sure that you do have the space in front. We are on step 11 now. We are going to attach the strap. The measurement for this strap, you will have an estimated of 7¼ drop from the top of the strap to the zipper tape. So if you want to have it longer, please by all means increase the measurement. Okay, we are going to place double-sided tape, okay, along. You don't want to make it too long because we are going to sew later, just in case your sewing machine is sensitive to double-sided tape. So we are going to place the midpoint of the webbing to the edge of the slip pocket, likewise here, and ensure they are not twisted, the webbing. Okay. After you attach the webbing, ensure that both sides are equally spaced out. And from here, we are going to mark a 4" down from the top of the zipper down to the webbing, 4 inches. And from 4 inches, another 2 inches down. This will be the X box that we will be sewing later. And on this side where it meets the front pocket, I like to do a few back stitch to reinforce the pocket. So right now we are going to top stitch along the webbing to the 4" mark, across, down to the 2" mark, and X box, and back down again for both sides. And I will be showing you a few tips and tricks that I learned to ensure that there is no skip stitches. Before we start, ensure you have enough bobbin thread. I just wind my bobbin. Do stand by a ruler and also your hum jumper. If you do have difficulty because of the footer to pass through the zipper tab, hum jumper will help you. Let's see whether do I need it. For mine is alright, but I'm going to do a few reverse stitch. It is slightly out actually, but it can't be seen because I'm using a red thread. Not to use contrasting thread if you are conscious about your stitches. Okay, we stop at the 4" mark. Depending on certain sewing machine and your needle plus the fabric, sometimes when we turn, it tends to have a skip stitch. So how you can prevent it is to lift up your needle, but your needle is still down. We will pivot the fabric. And on your first stitch, hand crank to ensure that you catch the first bobbin. Then we will continue to sew. Okay, pivot, turn, hand crank, and sew. Of course, before you sew, make sure your hand crank already has the bobbin thread up. And we're going to sew to the 2-inch mark. Okay. This is the area that I tend to have skip stitch if I don't hand crank and pivot. Because of the layers, we have the front pocket and also the webbing plus the exterior. And next, you will take out this ruler in order to have a perfect X box. So you will line up, as usual, our hand crank. If I notice my bobbin thread is not coming up, as in my top thread, okay, meaning it didn't catch a lower bobbin thread, I will go back again. But for this case, there is no issue. Okay, hand crank. I'm a little bit off also. Good thing is I'm using the same thread color as the webbing. Let's take a look. You have a perfect X box. A little bit off here, but it's all right. Can't be seen from here. Oh, yeah. So we'll repeat the same over here. Now we're going to do exactly the same as what we did on that side. Okay, so for here, you just have to note it. Okay. Okay, this will be the zipper pocket. This is how it looks at the back. We'll put this aside first and we'll repeat the same, except the measurement is a little bit different for the back panel. Okay, now we are back to the step 10 because just now I went ahead to do the strap after attaching the zipper pocket. So this is the back panel. Instead of measuring at the top, we are going to measure from the bottom center 1 5/8 inch, which is 4.1 cm up center. Again, draw of a straight line using fabric pen and take your slip pocket that we did earlier. This time around, we are going to place the zipper right side down on the placement below the placement marking, meaning this slip pocket is actually out of the back panel. Similar like the front panel, we are going to top stitch 2 rows of 1/8 inch apart. Matching center point to center point. If you are not confident, what you do is you put a painter stick. First, we will unzip first. Okay, from this center point, I will straighten my zipper tape. Okay. Remember to back stitch from the start and the end. Okay, we are going to leave it up. Make sure your zipper tag is not flat or being squashed together. It should be facing upright downwards. Ensure both sides are equally spaced out. We use the printer stick and your ruler to make sure that. Okay, let's put this first. So for now, we are going to baste the short edges. Make sure here is also equal. Take out your webbing again. Apply the DST. DST is really useful for this step because it prevents the webbing from shifting. Ensure the webbing is not twisted. What you will do is you need to make sure the front and the back panel, the webbing is aligned. Obviously mine is not. Okay, so I just need to make sure I adjust it. Okay, looks good now. Okay, ensure both are equally spaced out. But this time we're going to have a two stress point. One is the opening of the slip pocket and the other is the bottom luggage sleeve. So like earlier, I'm going to do a reverse stitch here and also here. Same as earlier, we are going to measure from the zipper tip down 4 inch, followed by another 2 inch. For this, you will notice it is closer than the pocket. Yes, it is correct because the placement for this pocket is higher because of the luggage sleeve. So now we are going to top stitch along the webbing. Make sure you do a reverse stitch here and over here. Until the 4 inch mark, we are going to sew it across down to the 2 inch and we will sew an X box and we'll finish it off. If you have a label tag that you like to display on the exterior, you can actually slot it in on either side of the webbing. I'm going to make the overhead screen as it is because just now earlier it was close up. Please let me know if you prefer this overhead view or the earlier close-up view. Okay, I did wrong. It should be this. Okay, check that you're happy. And we'll proceed to do the other side. we'll double stitch, reverse stitch here also. The back panel is now done. So this is a slip pocket, and when you unzip it, become a luggage sleeve. I was saying do not use a long pull because otherwise it will be too long and this will be dangling like this. Okay, take out your base and we are going to align the bottom edge right side together. It doesn't matter your front or back panel first. And we are going to clip it and sew with a 3/8 inch. Okay, over here there will be the layers because of the zipper pull. You just have to make sure it's out of the way. And you can do a reverse stitch at the webbing. And we are going to clip the corner before turning the fabric right side out. I'm a little bit off here. Let's see. Okay, flatten your fabric with the seam facing towards the base. I think my fabrics probably stretch a bit or I cut slightly wider. But it doesn't matter, let's sew because it's less than 1/8 and it will be easily covered by the seam allowance. So right now we are going to sew 2 rows of top stitching. 1/8 followed by another 1/8. Make sure you have enough bobbin thread if you have not changed yet. Okay, and another 1 round. Of course, you can stop at only 1 stop stitching, but I thought 2 would be good. And to reinforce the base, okay, this is how it looks at the back. And we will repeat the same for the remaining panel. Right side together. Okay, your bag is getting heavy, bigger, longer, heavier. So make sure you clear your table. If you do not have a big sewing area, get a table maybe of about the same height or even a tall stool so that it can help to hold the weight of the bag. There is my light stand is right in front of me, so that's why I need to shift my back aside. Again, snip off the SA corners. Okay, and we will flatten the seam. And 2 rows of top stitching, like what we did earlier. 1/8 followed by another 1/8. Okay, so this is a separating zipper. We are done, and we are going to the side gusset. We are on side gusset, step number 15, zipper tab. ZTC and ZTC1 zipper tab, exterior and lining, and 2 ZC zipper with a pull. And we will cut the pieces into 4 for both the exterior and the lining. We'll take 2 each for 1 zipper. Put one aside first. Take the exterior and place right side together with the zipper tape. For the lining, right side down on the wrong side of the zipper tape. On both sides, we are going to sew with a 3/8 inch. Then we'll turn the fabric wrong side together, and we are going to top stitch a perimeter with a 1/8 inch. Okay. If you are using a thick fabric, you can always trim off the exterior, the snip off the corners to reduce the layers, as well as the lining, but I'm going to skip that because it's not really that thick. Okay, and we are going to flatten it and top stitch around the perimeter. And from here, you mark the center point using a fabric pen. Do not snip into the zipper tape. And we'll repeat the same for the remaining ZC zipper. We are done with your ZC zipper. Put it aside first. For the zipper gusset, we will need the exterior ZTD and the lining ZTD1. And again, 2 pieces of ZD zipper. Yes, there are many zipper. That's why I need to label it. And we will need to have 2 pulls. This is important because this will be the zipper. This will be the pull that will open up the whole bag. I recommend the hook and the whole zipper pull so that you can do a simple anti-theft concept. Okay, I do not have a bigger hook other than this, so I'm going to just use this and will change it when I find a suitable one. But it could work also for this. See, this is how it works. There's no way that a person can open up your bag, okay, without pulling the other zipper pull. And because I intend to change this, okay, I use interchangeable height. Okay, I'm not too sure whether are you able to see this. I had it for quite a few years already, in fact, for my custom bag making, because sometimes customer would like to change the pull. So I managed to get this. I don't know whether you can see. Okay, this is how you actually release. You put the zipper pull in and take it out. Such as here, I'm going to try to take it out for you. First, we will need to put the zipper in front first and pull it out. My long finger doesn't help now. I think my clip is a bit too big. That is difficult. Okay, it's not that hard. Okay, so this is what I do. So if I want, I will just insert it again. But I'm not going to do that because since I can put it later, it helps on the zipper gusset sewing. So I'll put this aside. But this is something I want to show you on the hook and a hole anti-theft concept. Okay, we'll put one zipper aside first and the lining as well as the exterior. Make sure the zipper length is as what indicated in the pattern. For this, we are taking our lining first. Right side down, wrong side up. And we'll do so on the other end. Make sure it's not twisted. And we are going to base it with a 1/8 inch. Okay, and we will take the exterior. We'll place it right side together with the zipper tape, or the zipper tee, yes. Right side together, and we'll do the same to this side. Ensure that it is not twisted. We can always double check before we sew it. Okay, we'll turn it out. And it is not tangled. So we are going to sew with a 3/8 inch on both ends. This I will snip off the exterior. Please go ahead so that it can reduce the bulk. Okay, turn it around, and we're going to base the perimeter with a 1/8 inch. Okay, once you're done, get a center point. This is very important. You definitely need to get a center point on the zipper tape because later part we will need to snip into the zipper tape. And make sure you use a pen that not chalk, because chalk, you know, it will disappear over time. So make sure you get a pen that is visible for you to see later. I'm using this silver ink that is for vinyl, but it also can be used on zipper tape. This is from my shop. Okay, I'm going to just to make sure that I can see it later. And we'll do the same for the remaining ZD zipper. Okay, you are now done with your zipper gusset. We'll put this aside first. Well, on step 17, take out your mesh fabric piece, C3, and your bias tape. And your label tag if you have any. Okay, one thing about cutting bias tape, it should be horizontal stretch and minimum vertical. I used to have big struggle when I sew with mesh fabric because it stretches four ways. Okay, until I discovered this. As you can see, it's pretty. It's a little bit structured and it look better on the pocket. Okay, you can use double-sided tape if you're not familiar. I highly encourage you to try to use a bias tape or fold over elastic. I don't sew with fold over elastic because my machine doesn't like and I don't really know how to. So for this, that is, if you can see, there are some weaves here, so it's easier to maneuver. It doesn't have the center line, but it's all right. You can easily press it as you sew. So if you are new, I highly recommend you to sew without double-sided tape because it's only a straight edge and it's a great way for you to practice. But if you really need to put the double-sided tape, just put on the long edge front and back, and you will just fold to cover the raw edges. So for now, I'm not going to put the double-sided tape and show you how I sew my fabric. Okay, what I like to do is I will fold into half and sew a few stitches first, a 1/4 inch stitch, as in seam allowance. Okay, so I will just make sure the bias tape is secure and I will press. You can press now, you can press later, no issue. Then from here, you'll just put into the midpoint and cover it. Make sure you backstitch. So press, hold. You see the two, I'm not too sure whether you're able to see, but I can see both here join. And honestly, it's faster than you apply the double-sided tape. Okay. See? Perfect. And it's a great way for you to improve your skill by learning how to sew with bias tape. Then from there, you can advance to a thicker, with a thicker fabric material. Yeah. Remember to backstitch and don't stop, don't trim now because we will continue to another one. And I forgot to mention, okay, if you probably wouldn't feel it, but there is a difference between the front and the back. The back is a bit rougher. This is smoother. Very minor, not much of a difference to be honest, but yeah, just to let you know. Okay. Press, hold, flatten. So this is a really fantastic way for you to practice. But if you do have stretchy mesh fabric, you might not feel the same because it is really tough to sew something that is stretched. Okay, so you can see, perfect. You take out your this lining, that is your remaining 2 piece of piece D, and we are going to sew this pocket. Mesh fabric, both facing right side up. You see, I cut the mesh fabric to size and it doesn't stretch. In the past, I always give allowance, but then I realize it's really not necessary if you get the right fabric. And yes, my shop do sell this. Okay, we are going to base the perimeter of the mesh fabric to the lining, and thereafter I'm going to sew a divider pocket, 2 rows of top stitching up to the mesh, to the bias tape, and 1/8 apart, and come down again just to reinforce. This act as a pocket for your socks, your maybe electronic devices, or some even use passport. There is no hard and fast rule. You can do a 1/3, you can do a half. And for this, I like to sew with my mesh fabric facing down. My rule of thumb for this on my machine is lining facing up, especially when I do the basting part, because my machine like to string the fabric. Maybe I shouldn't have do a reverse stitch. Doesn't really look that pretty. Okay, we'll just leave this and we will continue with the next. Your mesh pocket is now done. We'll put this aside first. We are on step 19 for the cover clip, which is optional. And we will fold right side together on the long edge. We'll leave a gap of 2.5 inches on one of the long edge. We will sew with a 1/4 inch around the perimeter except the buffing gap. And over here, I like to sew with L stitches. It just makes the buffing easier in a way that when after that we need to fold in the raw edges, it makes the appearance look prettier. If you notice, I like to reinforce the stitches here. So when I turn it out, the stitches doesn't come apart, especially when I smooth out the corners. So from here, we are going to snip off the corners here, like a little V. Okay, and we will turn it out. I'm using this Oxford 300D. It doesn't have any stretch at all. Unlike vinyl, you still have a little bit room to play with, so that it's easier to turn it out, as shown on my binding video. To use the turning tool, I'm using a chopstick. See, because of the L stitches, sorry, it's kind of easy just to tuck in the raw edges. And it looks so much prettier. Also reinforce this opening here. Because sometimes when we turn the fabric right side out, the stitches can come apart. You will need to top stitch the 2 long edges and 1 short edge. Leave another short edge unstitched first. Okay, and we will do the same for the remaining cover clip. Now we are going to mark a 3/8 inch on the top corner where we top stitch it. And we're going to punch hole for the snap button. We are going to insert the male button in. So I'm going to the table press now to secure all the 4 buttons. See you in a bit. Yeah, our cover clip is done. We'll put this aside first. We'll be attaching this to the PC. You take your D-ring webbing, which is 5 inch, and we'll mark a midpoint. Apply the DST over. We'll slide the D-ring and place it at the midpoint that we marked earlier, likewise over here to fold it. Okay, and we are going to place another DST at the back. We'll repeat the same here. And we'll put this aside first. Now we need to assemble the side gusset. You need PC as exterior, C1 lining, and ZC zipper. So we will put this aside, the lining aside first. Place your ZC zipper right side together. Do bear in mind on the zipper pull. If you are a right-hander, you may like to open from the left. However, if you have a fancy pull that you like to see from the front panel, you may want to place this in the opposite direction. Meaning, for this, I will be placing from the left to right. On the other gusset, which we will be doing later, I'll be doing from right to left. This point was highlighted by our tester, I believe is Geraldine. So it's a good point if you want to showcase your zipper pull. Okay, and we'll take the lining, C1 lining, place it right side together with the zipper tape sandwich in between, and we are going to sew with a 1/4 inch. Then from here, we are going to snip the corners to reduce the layers, especially if we are using vinyl. Okay. We are going to top stitch along the zipper edge and baste around the two side and the bottom edge with a 1/8 inch. I didn't do a very good job here. As you can see, there is some excess fabric. That's why I did not have enough fabric here. But I believe it can be covered by the seam allowance later. So I'm just going to leave it. But I'm just double checking there is no issue. Yeah. Okay. And next we will take your piece C, the upper portion. You notice mine is different color because I got not enough vinyl. So I'm using this as a coordinating accent. So I cut the top with a different fabric, which can be nice also, so that you can have a different look. Place it right side together. Okay, find the zipper, the main point. And for this, we are going to sew with a 1/4 inch because there won't be any lining here. So you can't baste it. You will just need to sew it with a 1/4 inch. Because normally basting, we do it with a 1/8 inch. I'm changing my zipper foot. Okay, from here, we are going to flatten the seam allowance. We are not going to top stitch yet, but just flatten it. Okay, and we are going to take up our piece D, where we have this strap ankle. So we're going to put this right side facing up. This is also right side facing up. Once after we assemble together, when you open it, you can actually see the pocket. Okay, so it's right side up, right side up. So we are going to clip the whole thing and baste the parameter. Okay, so once you have clipped it around, just double check. Right side up, wrong side up, or rather wrong side down. So when you unzip it, you can actually see the right side of the lining. So we are going to baste the parameter now. I'm going to baste with the lining facing up because my machine loves to string my thinner fabric. Okay, just double check. Oops, mine came out. It's all right. Later I'll reinforce again. Okay, so now we will need to top stitch this close. So when you open up, it's only the bottom that can be seen, can be used also, as we do not have a lining here and because we also reinforce this area. So we're going to top stitch with a 1/8 inch. Sorry, earlier I was top stitching and I didn't realize that the camera stopped recording, or rather the phone stopped recording. So I was only top stitching this top exterior. And this is the back, wrong side of it. And if you open up the zipper, okay, it's only the bottom part. Mark 1 3/4 inch, which is 4.5 cm down from the top center point. And we're going to take the D-ring tab, remove the DST, and we will center it. And we're going to sew an X box, same as what we did on the front panel. There was a technical issue earlier. The first side gusset wasn't recorded. This is the second side gusset with the D-ring. Stand by your arm jumper and also scrap of fabric. For me, I use the webbing as well as a ruler for your X box. The method used is the same as what we did earlier on the front and back panel. Your side gusset with D-ring is now done, and mark from the top center point 1 1/4 inch, which is 3.2 cm down on the right side of the side gusset. Take your cover clip and mark the center point on the bottom edge where we didn't top stitch earlier. And place the bottom edge above the mark line. Use a masking tape to hold it in place. And we are going to top stitch using a 1/8 inch. First row 1/8 inch, subsequently another row of stitching. It can be a 1/4 inch away from the edge or another 1/8 away from the first top stitch. We have completed step 25 and we already made 2 side gusset exterior. Make sure you mark the center point for the zipper gusset, especially on the zipper tape, because later we will snip into the zipper tape. And we will line up the straight edges first. If you are new to sewing zipper gusset, the following step might help you. It helps me before when I first started. Okay, what you do is you align the bottom edge, which is the straight edge, and we will sew this first. Then thereafter we will tackle the zipper. This I find it helped me to manage, especially with all the clips. I'm not worrying about things shifting around. Likewise, if you are sewing a rectangular shape, you will just sew the straight edges first before we do the rounded corners. This is what I believe I did that on the Odyssey tutorial. There are 2 seam allowance. One is on the zipper tab. You will need to sew a 1/4 inch so that later when we birth the lining out, this is already aligned at 1/4 inch. Then the zipper tape we are doing on a 1/8 inch. So for now, let's base this at a 1/4 inch first. Unzip your zipper. We will need the outer zipper. This one, what we'll do is we'll clip it so that it's out of the way. Okay, and we'll align the center point, right side together. Oh yeah, if you do this cover clip, what you do is, I think my double-sided tape is in between. Make sure your this cover clip is out of the way, then you can use a clip to clip against the D-ring. Then we'll clip here. Then from here, we will clip the whole perimeter, the curved edge. Do not use stapler now because we are going to sew into the zipper tape, and there's a risk of the integrity of the zipper tape will not be there if you use a stapler. And the measurement for this is very spot on. I did not hear any feedback from my tester saying that there that they need to sneak into the zipper. In cases that you really need to, be sure to use a lighter to cinch the snips. But I have done this many prototypes, and we got about 20 plus tester made. None has feedback that they need to, so I don't see why you will need to as well. And I forgot to mention, earlier I was saying I will be using a hook here. So I'm a right-hander, so naturally my right-hander will be doing the hook will be better compared to the left. So make sure you place the hook on your right side. If you're left-hander, then you can put on the left side. Okay, now we will baste it with a 1/8 inch. This is probably the most important tool in my sewing room because it helped me to maneuver tight space. So be sure to get one. I think this is from 2019. Yeah, 2019. Beside arm jumper, double-sided tape, flat screwdriver. All these are my tool to go to. This thermostat will just press it against the fabric to the place that we want it to be. Okay, we are done with the zipper gusset. Let's zip it up and see how is it. And open up. It's okay to see some basting stitch because later we also will 1/4 inch. Okay, and this should be a 1/4 inch. Okay. Okay, you will take out your piece G lining together with the mesh pocket. You're going to place it right side together. And we're going to clip around the perimeter. Mark a 6-inch gap. Then later we are going to turn the fabric right side out from this hole. So we are going to do a L stitches. This is my favorite, okay, so that when we later fold in, your finishing will be nicer. So right now, go ahead and clip it. Okay, make sure you put the zipper tape out of the way. Again, we are going to clip this. Center point to center point. Okay, also. The most difficult part for this is, I wouldn't say difficult, probably challenging, is the corners because of the zipper. But we can still do it. That is always the case for all zipper gusset, especially when your zipper is ending at the corner bottom. And change out your zipper foot. And we are going to sew the L stitches 1/4 inch and round by a 1/4 inch seam allowance to the other end, also ending with a L stitches. Okay, this is where your zipper pull is. You just need to be mindful because it tends to coil up over here. So what I do is I will go slow. That's why your slim zipper pull is important for this. Okay, make sure the zipper coil is flattened. And use your hand to feel the lump. If there is any zipper that is caught in between, you can feel it. Again here, okay, so we just make sure we have to press it down. Here will be challenging also. I'm opening up so that I can see here. So if you can see the zipper. Okay, I don't know whether you can see it, but slowly, one at a time. Okay. Then remember to end with the L stitches also. We are going to turn the fabric right side out. If any reason that you are unable to turn the fabric because of the material you use, what you can do is use a hair dryer. Okay, so that you can soften the fabric. Okay, check that everything is good. And we are going to use a turning tool. For me, I'm using a chopstick to smooth out the corners. See, what you do is gently push out the corners here. Okay, zip it up. looking good. And this is your bag. Okay, so right now, just now I mentioned about this 1/4 inch. See, naturally you will have a fold, so it make your job simpler to put a double-sided tape. If you do not have, it's all right, but I always encourage you to put, because we will be top stitching from the exterior. The last thing you want to do is we can't see the back when we top stitch from the exterior. So it's always good to use a double-sided tape on the closing. And we are going to fold in to make sure you cover the 1/4 inch stitches as much as you can. Okay, and just make sure you have enough bobbin thread. I think I might need to change now. Yeah, mine is right at the end. So check your bobbin thread, and the next thing we're going to do is to top stitch. If you are particular with how your stitches look like, you can consider to leave at least 2 to 3 inches of thread. Do not back stitch. Then from there we'll pull the thread to the back, tie a knot, then you will finish your top stitching as a seamless row of stitches. Okay, which I'm going to demonstrate. You might want to unzip your zipper so that it's easier for you to top stitch. Okay, I'm just going to double check it. Looks good. You see, the double-sided tape help you to hold it so that you need not struggle with so many things at one time. Okay. And I'm not going to back stitch. Leave a few 2 to 3 inches. And double check. Yep, it looks good. See? But my 1/8 start to become wider. So yeah, I think it's very minimum, so it's okay. So when you come to this corner, you just got to be few stitches at one go. I want it to be at the top just in case underneath I cannot see, you see. Okay, let's check. It's good. Okay, if this part is going to be thick because of the zipper tab, take out your hum jumper so that you won't have a skip stitch on the uneven layers. Like here, I'll try to press it down first. Then your cover flap or cover clip. This should be named probably a zipper cover. Jen, me, and Samantha had a good laugh. Yeah, a lot of work has done put inside this pattern, I must say. And these wonderful ladies plus the tester team really make it so easy, really. They make it so easy for me. Okay, so I like to pull a little bit. It's not really pull away, but you know, you just flatten the seam out, the seam in between, so you will have a nicer top stitch. My side here is very thick because I'm using a 300D zipper tab. If your machine is unable to handle that, so just be mindful about the exterior for the zipper tab that you're going to use. Okay, when it comes to here, I always like to pull first because sometimes I get mixed up. I don't know which one is which, and it's very hard for me to pull out. So that's I will do in advance. Okay, and just leave it there. And remember not to backstitch, and we will stop at the, as much as possible, as close as possible, just at the stitch hole where you started. Okay, so we need to flatten it out also, but at the same time, just double check at the opening. Okay, my stitch hole is there. Make sure my thread is not tangled up. Okay, I think I'm happy. Again, just trim it off. And from here, we are going to pull over, okay, the thread. Sorry if you can't see because I'm using red thread. Okay, before that, let's check first. Okay, we zip up. It's looking good. I'm happy with this. And when you unzip it here, this is the pocket. And your stabilize, you know your D-ring is. Okay, and we are going to tie the knot here. I know some is even pull through the hole. I'm not going to do that. Okay, you do what you need to, but I find this is enough because nobody is going to see the base. Maybe on top of the bag probably, but not this. Okay, I like to just snip off. You can put some people put a dab of blue. I'm just going to quickly okay. I'm very familiar with my lighter for this, so I know where to aim. So if you are not, don't try this. Don't try with such a big lighter. Well done. We are finished with the zipper gusset. The next thing is to snip onto the zipper tape. Remember I was saying? First, definitely you need to separate the zipper pull I mean. Otherwise, we cannot cut into it. Okay? Because if we cut into it, the both zipper will be here. So you got to separate it. Just open it up. Trust the process. Do not hesitate in snipping because you only have one chance. And it shouldn't be hard. We just snip it like this. Okay? Use a lighter. Okay, you can cinch it now. You can cinch it later also, no problem. Because we are going to do a L stitches. Sorry, not L. We are going to make a 90 degree. Okay, so make sure there is no raw edges. No, sorry. Make sure there is no excess zipper tape here. And we are going to paste at the side. Like what we did earlier on other zipper tape. There's a lot of 90-degree stitches required for this pattern. Okay, after this, we are going to use a lighter just to cinch the ends again to make sure this is sealed. Okay, we are going to do the same on this. Make sure there is no excess zipper tape. One side is always tougher than the other. I think after this pattern, we will be all expert in the 90-degree zipper tape. Okay, cool. We are done with one side. Let's zip it up, and this is how you will look. Okay, that's why this is cover clip is for, there will be a gap. And the gap is for you to actually cover it. Sense of security, okay, is good, and it's also for visual wise. This clip-on was suggested by Tester Nguyen. Thank you. We will continue on the remaining side gusset. Okay, we are done with our side gusset, and we are going to take out your exterior, and we are going to do the exterior assembly. Now we are at the exterior assembly. Remember I was talking about the fancy zipper pull. So this is your front panel, especially if you are on any fabric stripe, okay, where you want to showcase all the so-called hardware that you use. So for this, we are going to face it here, towards here, and this will be here. Okay, towards the front panel. If there is no concern, then it doesn't matter which side we are going to place. So we're going to put this aside first, and we are going to line up this side gusset. You will unzip the zipper, and we are going to align the center point and the zipper tape along the long edge. So we will base along the long edge with a 1/8 inch. Okay, make sure your front and the side you have some space for the back, because it will get longer and heavier. I'm going to change out to my zipper foot. Your zipper end should be at the 1/2 inch mark. Okay, so this is your bag, almost done on one side, and it's very easy to zip it up. There shouldn't be any struggle. Just double check before we proceed on the other side. I forgot to mention I was using this fabric earlier, 300T, but I accidentally cut a slit at the side. So I got to redo the whole thing. I took the base apart and I decided to choose black, which has probably more contrasting color. And I think, yeah, it looks better with black. Okay, and we will proceed to do the other gusset, same thing. We will align the center point, clip it, and the top stitch will have two different sections, which I will explain in a while. So for now, go ahead and clip it first. After you have clipped it, mark the gap that you will turn the back right side out. For me, I take the middle part, whereby it's a side gusset because I want to avoid the base with the seam allowance. So on the starting and the ending, we are using a 1/8 inch. And for here, we are going to use a 1/4 inch. The concept is similar as what we did on the side gusset. And be sure to leave about 15 to 19 inch wide, depending on the fabric that you use, to see how much space you need to turn the fabric right side out. Clear your space because the bag is getting heavier as we have an extra gusset now. Okay, remember to stop at where is the gap, and we will increase the seam allowance to a 1/4 inch. Right now, I'm going to change. Okay, my daughter is here. She say, "Why, Mama, you keep saying birthing?" I say, "Yeah, we birth the bag out. Then why don't you say turn the bag right side out?" Birthing is one. it's just easier to say, Charlotte. Okay. She's having her exam next week, and yeah, and she still haven't studied. Okay. Okay, from here I gradually is going to decrease to a 1/8 inch. And we are going to put in the we have put the zipper pull in first and slide in the separating zipper. Okay, and this will be covered here, and the cam step will be done only after the bag is completed. Again, I was mentioning the zipper pull. So if you are striking, meaning you are sewing fabric for another small shop, so usually you want to probably showcase the front panel and the side zipper pull. Okay, this was brought up by tester, I think Geraldine. Yeah. Okay, and we'll put this aside first while we proceed with our internal lining. We are on step 34 now. Take out your Velcro tape and cut into half. We are going to place the DST on 4 sides, or on the wrong side. Okay, and I already measure, which is 3 1/4 from the short edge inwards, and from the bottom edge, that would be 1 1/8 inch, which is 2.8 cm up, 8.2 away from the short edge. Or you can use your pattern piece E1 to mark the placement. On both sides, you see the dot here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate the Velcro tape. Take the one with the hook, which is the scratchy side. Then we put the fussy away first, but we are going to place it on the lining soon. So from here, I remove the DST and I'm going to just place it here inwards. Likewise for here. And we are going to top stitch with a 1/8 inch around the parameter. But before we do so, let's take out the piece F. This is the suit compartment lining. We are going to place the other side of the Velcro tape in it. Again, you can use a pattern piece F to mark the placement, or you can measure, same thing, 1 1/8 from the short edge and 3 1/4 inch inwards. But do bear in mind, the 3 1/4 inch must be nearer to the zipper. So in order to avoid any confusion, arrange your zipper to be in between the lining first before we secure the Velcro tape. And this should be right side up. Likewise, for just now earlier, it should be right side up also. So we are going to place it here. 3 1/4 inch from the inside, and the top edge 1 1/8 inch. And we do the opposite side. Okay, the measurement is true for a 3/4 inch Velcro. So if you use a thicker Velcro, chances is you will see some of the Velcro tape. We put the zipper away first. So we are going to secure the Velcro tape. We will use standard stitch, which is 2.5 cm. No, sorry, 2.5 millimeter stitch length. Okay, and we are going to top stitch the parameter. Baste with a standard stitch around the parameter. So we will continue on this. For you to identify easily, maybe you can mark across here so that we know that will be the zipper. Likewise, I'm going to do here. Okay, your piece F suit with the Velcro tape is done. We'll put this aside first. Now we are back to step 31. Take the zipper tape and cut into 4 pieces. This is ZTE. Okay, ensure the length is what is indicated in the pattern. And again, also depend whether are you a right hander or left hander. So I'm going to just place here from left to right. And we are going to place it right side down to the zipper tape, and the other side is also right side down. It depends on your, though there is no lining at the back, but I prefer to have a zipper tab at the back also. Because if we do not have, let me demonstrate to you. What happened to me is when I bought a bag from a shop, they do not have a zipper tab at the back. And we will do this. And this tend to scratch my item. Eventually it came loose. That's what I saw for those store-bought bags. So it's really up to you. If you do not want, you can do it, but just bear in mind that there will be a tendency of the zipper tape stretching your item or coming out. Okay, we are going to sew with a 3/8 inch. Once done, we will turn the zipper tab right side up, and we will top stitch the perimeter with a 1/8 inch. Okay, if you have excess zipper tab, you can trim it away, or you can just leave it as it is. Okay, you see what I mean? If we do not have, there will be a chance that, the edge of the zipper T is poking out. Okay, we put this aside while we take the remaining piece E1. This is the flat cover, and we need to cut a 2-inch from the top. If you have a pin placement, this is something that you need to take note. I already draw the 2-inch from the top. I'm going to trim it away. This is what you will have. It was mentioned in the pattern instruction to avoid using fabric that you need to interface, because basically this is the wrong side of the fabric, which will be the inside of the fabric. Okay, we are only using 2 pieces of fabric. And if your fabric tend to fray at the edges, especially on the zipper side, what you can do is you do a zigzag stitches first. That will help to prevent the fraying. And now we are going to line this up right side together with the ZE zipper that we did earlier. I think I cut my zipper tape a little bit longer, but it's all right. We are going to sew with a 1/4 inch, snip the SA corners, turn it right side out, and we are going to top stitch along the long edge with a 1/8 inch. So remember, 1/4 inch. And forgot to mention, if you are right-hander, you like to open from the left to right, make sure your zipper pull close to the left. And we are going to trim the side first. Turn it out, flatten the seam. Okay, and we are going to top stitch with a 1/8 inch. Okay, this is the back. And we are going to repeat the same thing for the upper portion, right side together, and sew with a 1/4 inch. Again, snip the corners, okay, flatten the seam, and we will top stitch the top with a 1/8 inch. Snip off the excess zipper tab and take out the remaining piece E1 with your Velcro, and we are going to place it right side together. Okay, this method will be using a French seam method, where we will sew it right side together. We'll turn it around. When we sew right side together, we are using a 1/8 inch. Then we'll turn it around, top stitch with a 1/4 inch, so that we do not need to use any binding, bias tape, and also at the same time reduce the material that we need to use. But prior to that, make sure you unzip your zipper so that you can turn the fabric right side out from the zipper. Okay, we are going to sew. When you sew this with a 1/8 inch, make sure you use your standard stitch length. You do not want to base this with the highest stitch length, because thereafter it will be seen, it will come out actually when you turn the fabric right side out and top stitch. Okay, you can snip off a little bit on the corners, and we are going to turn the fabric right side out. Okay, I'm going to turn, smooth out the corners. Because you need to poke out the corners. So if you use a bigger stitch length, it's going to open up, and you don't want that to happen. And we will flatten the seam. You may need to roll it first. You can always flatten before you turn it right side out. Depending on your fabric, maybe I should have done that, because this is kind of slippery, so it's a bit harder to get the edge. Make sure you have enough bobbin thread, and we will need to do 2 different seam allowance. For the 2 short edge and the bottom edge, we are going to sew top stitch with a 1/4 inch. And the top here, we are going to only top stitch with a 1/8 inch. Because later part, when we attach this to the main lining, we are going to top stitch again. 1/8 followed by a 1/4 inch. As you can see earlier, my Velcro tape was positioned on the top edge instead of the bottom edge. So I'm going to unstitch and redo the whole thing. Basically, after you top stitch the whole perimeter, your flat cover is now done. Okay, take your ZF zipper, and same as what we did for other zipper tape, we are going to do a 90-degree. Okay, we'll fold to ensure the side here there is no excess zipper tape. And we'll repeat the same for this side. Okay, make sure you're happy with how it looks. Be more balanced. Okay, now we are done on this side. And take out these 2-piece F lining, which is a suit compartment lining. Earlier, we have already marked where the zipper should go. And we are going to mark a 3/8 inch from the top edge on both sides. Okay, a 3/8 inch, so that we will start our zipper from here. As mentioned, to avoid confusion, it is always good we start here. I'm going to just do that before separating the zipper. Clip it. Okay, then I'm going to separate the zipper. The zipper pull, you can put it aside first. This lining is long, but it is light, so it's still manageable. You can still let the fabric fall down to your sewing machine, or rather the table. And this will be here. Okay, so we are going to sew one side first. Change your zipper foot, and we are going to baste it with a 1/8 inch. take out your F1 lining without the Velcro side, and we're going to place it right side together with the zipper sandwich in between. I accidentally snip it off, which happened to my face. So just got to be careful. We're going to sew along the zipper, long edge and the short top edge with a 1/4 inch. And I'm going to snip off a little bit the corner here as well as here. And we will turn the fabric right side out, flatten the seam and top stitch the whole perimeter with a 1/8 inch. Okay, and now we will go ahead and top stitch the perimeter with a 1/8 inch. And I like to pull two fabric together so that it aligns better. Okay, and we will base the whole thing, and for this I'm going to use the longer stitch length. Okay, we have done one side, which is the suit compartment lining. This is the back and this is the front. So proceed to do the remaining piece F and F1. Same thing happened as the binding. I didn't pivot and I got a skip stitch. I'm just going to leave it as it is. I already did whatever necessary. I changed my Velcro to the right direction. Just remember it must be at the bottom edge and not the top edge, which was my mistake. Okay, one thing about lining up the zipper pull, what works for me is if I can't get it in, okay, like this, if for any reason why I can't get it in, I will actually cut a notch here, okay, and I find it's easier for me to line up. Everyone has a different habit. This helped me a lot when I first started and it's still helping me. The fabric is a bit long, so it's hard to maneuver. Okay. Once you line up your two pieces of suit compartment lining, okay, this is the back. You can double check your Velcro tape. It should match perfectly. Okay, this is how it would look. But for now, we are not going to use this. We're going to take your piece F1, which is the suit compartment base. Okay, we are going to line up here, right side together, and we are going to sew with a 3/8 inch. Okay, we'll snip off the SA corners and we will flatten this and go over to the overhead view. And we will need to take out your piece E lining. As you can tell, this is the wrong side. This is the right side up. So make sure you mark. I have not. Make sure you mark your lining already, the midpoint. This is sophisticated too, just for your information. I'm not sure whether did I mention it. With the piece E line, main lining facing right side up, we are going to place our piece F, which is the suit compartment, right side up also. And we are going to just line up everything together, secure with clip. We are almost done with your lining. Once you do this, left with the flat cover, and we are ready for the final assembly. At this stage, you should already clear your table. Together with the exterior, the back is going to be really heavy. We are going to base the short edge at the base with a 1/8 inch, then followed by the top stitching around here. Okay, so that we can secure the base lining. And once done, we are going to base the 2 long edge to secure the suit compartment lining. Alternatively, you can base the 2 long edge and the bottom edge first before top stitching the base lining. Sorry, my phone was off earlier when I was pasting these two, and I didn't realize it until I finished it. But it's just a recap. I based these two. One trick is to sew, to pull the fabric as you sew. That means, I wouldn't say pull, probably when you sew the time, meaning this way, and you use your hand to actually pull the fabric along on both sides, meaning your both hand must be working. You just pull it along so that to make sure that it is aligned well, and to ensure that the fabric doesn't shrink, because it's useful for such a long piece of fabric. Now, measure both sides here are equal. There is a measurement. This should be about 5 3/4 inch. If you are slightly off, it is all right. Okay, just make sure that it is equal. Mine is slightly. Mine is 5 3/4 inch, but you notice my here is slightly taller, but it's fine. Okay, so over here, then we will take your flat cover and we'll match it up. You see, it's not able to see. So please do not over concern unless it is very obvious that it is lopsided. Otherwise, it is all right. Okay, take your flat cover, mark the center point, and from the center point, you will mark another 1 inch. In total, the gap here should be 2 inches. And we are going to line up the Velcro tape, okay, to the bottom. And here should be about 2 inches away as well. Okay, I already marked 2 inches here. It might not be that visible on the camera, but it is to me, so it is all right. Okay, and I'm going to secure it with a painter's tape so that to ensure that I get a right straight line. I'm just going to secure at the side. Make sure your center point is towards center point, and both sides here should be equal. We're going to top stitch along the long edge, stop at the 2 inch mark that we did earlier, which is 1 inch away from the midpoint. And we're going to do some tack stitch to reinforce the area. And we are going to continue with a 1/4 inch. Likewise, we are going to do the same over here. Here, there should be a gap of 2 inches. Let's go over to the sewing machine now. Okay, you stop at the 1 inch from the center point. And we are going to do some tack stitching. I like to go up and down again. And you should have about a 1/4 inch. Then we are going to, okay, make sure you flatten it, and we are going to sew to here. Mine won't be so nice because of my first stop stitching. Take a good break, clear your table because we really need your space. Get a table, extended table or stool to hold the bag because we're going to combine this lining together with the exterior. I'll see you in a short while. Well done everyone, and right now we are into the final assembly. It has been a long sew. Thank you for sticking out with me. We only left 2 things, which is the main lining and the exterior. Identify where is the gap that you are going to buff. Just now we sew here a 1/4 inch. Okay, so we are going to mark here first. I'm going to mark here. That is, I'm going to sew here a L stitches so that I know I'm going to turn the back right side out from this part. There's no right or wrong placement, but for me, I like to see the zipper pocket when I unzip from the front panel. So I will put this at the back panel. Go ahead and clip the fabric right side together. There is another 2 video that is available that is done by Samantha and Jan, who are the moderators for Sewfisticated Facebook group. And besides this, we also have launched another pattern, which is the sling strap. That's a padded strap, which will be perfect for heavy bag like this, or even any bag that you want to have comfort over your shoulders. And that is very quick make. Okay, as you can see, the layers build up and it's going to be heavy. So please clear your sewing area. And I'm going to use a pencil just to ensure I see this mark later. And just now I used the silver ink. It's not that obvious. Where is it now? It's somewhere here. Okay. Move your zipper to the middle so that it's not right at the edge. It'll be easier to sew. And now you have clip already. So I'm going to start from this side. Over here, I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch. Finish with the L stitches. Then I'm going to start from on the other side. Start with the L stitches and go around the perimeter with a 1/4 inch. But before that, I'm going to change my needle, a brand new needle, just to ensure that you can handle the layers and also double check your bobbin. Let's get sewing. Okay, ensure you clear your space already. I move my lights out of the way and hope it's still bright over the camera. I can't really tell. And we will fold and we'll start here for 1/4 inch. Stand by your hemostat. And or even your flat screwdriver or any tool that can help you to ensure that it is flat. Okay, I'm going to do the L stitches. At this stage, you're probably leaning back, like what I'm doing now. Okay. It should be all right. Okay, and I'm going to move to the other L stitches. For those who are using a domestic machine, maybe what you can do is put some books up to be level with your this throat plate so that it's more manageable with the weight. Like yoga block, yoga block is too high. I think books will be ideal. I like to do a reverse stitch just at the corners. Okay, this will be the what do you call it, zipper pull. So we need to arrange a little bit. Okay, I like to snip because we are going to birth, so I'm going to snip off a little bit at the corner. Okay, and what we can do is to here. Okay, remember not to snip into the zipper. Mine is just at the seam allowance here. Then we'll go to the overhead view again. Okay, we will turn your back right side out. It should be easier off screen because I got camera right above, so yeah. See, just now I backstitch on the L shape. It helps to make the stitches stronger. Take the turning tool. I'm using the chopstick to smooth out the corners. Okay, make sure everything looks good. We are going to try to zip up the back first before we top stitch the whole back and close the opening gap. just insert this in so that it's easier for me to pull. Likewise for this. Okay, and move your zipper right to the end. I think I still need to sort out the corners there, which I will do so later. Okay, this is the front. Okay, remember, hang on. Remember I was saying, if you are right-hander, so you will zip from the left to right. Then the first thing you will see is the pocket here. So this is how you see inside. And a side mesh pocket. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to sort out the corners first before I top stitch the whole perimeter. I'm going to apply the DST over the gap and close it. I'm not too sure other way, except maybe apply glue if you do not have a double-sided tape, because it's going to be tricky. We won't be able to see the gap here. If you do apply glue, please allow some time for it to cure. Otherwise, it will come out and your needle will be very sticky. Okay, so we are going to fold it to hide to meet slightly over the stitches. The fold should be natural, because just now we also sew L stitches. And if you did not change any needle just now earlier, I strongly recommend you to change, because we will be top stitching over layers of fabric. The last thing you want is to redo your top stitching. Okay, it looks good. And we are going to, what I like to do is press more. Okay. I'm going to start from here along the gap so that I can close this up first. Okay, ensure you have enough bobbin thread. I think I should be okay. No, I think I'm not going to take that risk. Yeah, see? So, yeah, check your bobbin thread. This pattern if you notice this pattern, I keep reminding you, because I don't want you to waste the effort, since the top stitching area can be long for some parts. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to fold up. You will need your, either, for me, it will be a flat screwdriver and also your arm jumper, because there will be some area that you will need to use it to avoid slip stitches. And I'm trying to find mine. Oh dear, where is mine now? I didn't realize my microphone ran out of battery, so this is a voice over. But just to make sure that you back stitch, as you top stitch, be sure to flatten the seam by gently pulling the zipper and the fabric apart. This will help you to keep your stitches nice and even. When you reach the uneven layers, especially between the base and the panel, use your hum jumper to avoid skip stitches. Also, keep checking your lining stitches as you go. Since this bag is on the larger side, take your time and carefully maneuver it under the needle for the best result. The Taylor bag is a large project, so go slow, take your time, and keep checking your progress as you sew. It's all about smooth control and steady hands. Well done, everyone. We have completed the top stitching. Let's zip up the bag and see how it looks. Because this exterior, I'm using a faux leather compared to the bound version where I use a bonded fabric, which is softer. And this one, you have the natural structure to it. Once you're happy with how it looks, let's do the final step for the snap button. Now we are at the final step. We turn the bag right side out, and from the ZD zipper edge, measure and mark 7/8 inch, which is 2.2 cm from the long edge, and a 3/4 inch, 1.9 cm down from the edge of the front panel fabric. Repeat the same on the other side. The gap between the two markings should be 2 inches, which is 5 cm. and that is the same as the measurement for the cover clip. We will use a leather puncture to create the holes at the mark points, and we will install the female caps. Be sure to double press on your table press to ensure the buttons are securely fastened. I didn't show my table press here because it is used to hold it up the weight of my light. And there you have it, your sophisticated Taylor convertible duffel bag is ready for adventures. I hope you enjoyed the process and pick up a few helpful tips along the way. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bells button so you won't miss future tutorial. And when you are ready for more adventure, give the binding version with the shoe compartment a try. I love to see your version. Tag me on social media or share it in the community. Until the next time, happy sewing!